This is AUK Radio. AUK Radio. On app, online at aukradio.co.uk. From the UK, we're connecting communities.
Virginia Badila, and I've been joined here by Paul Prosa, who is Welfare Services Manager at NOAA, social enterprise. Coronavirus has been directly impact on individuals, families, communities, and organizations. Luton is among the areas worst affected by COVID-19. But how NOAA social enterprise addressing welfare issues in this town of nearly 220,000 people? As I was saying on my introduction, I've been joined here live in the studio by Paul Prosa, in charge of welfare services at NOAA Enterprise. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Gina. It's good to be able to be with you tonight.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Excited to be talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. How long NOAA has been existing?
So NOAA as a charity began back in 1987. We launched when a nun, Sister Eileen Mahoney, came across from Ireland to support some of the Irish workers in Luton who were struggling at that time. And the charity developed from that point, basically offering advice and support to people who are out of work and struggling with housing. So that's kind of where we birthed.
What are your service user age group? Is overall or is it a particular ages?
Yeah, so the charity as a whole supports adults. So we don't currently support people under the age of 18. But other than that, absolutely everybody.
Oh, brilliant. With the current situation due to the pandemic, global health issues, how NOAA has been surviving?
Yeah, I think as a charity, obviously it's been quite a difficult time because some of our funding streams and some of the ways that we supported have been changed. But as a charity, we've still done our best to work our socks off during these last 12 months, particularly the work that I manage, which is our direct work with people who are homeless. Yeah, we've been working flat out, so we've had a pretty full-on year.
That's good. You mentioned homeless. Before COVID, you've been managing, you launched Housing First for people of Luton. How that project has been going on now?
Yeah, so within our welfare services, we provide a range of different support services to people who are homeless or facing homelessness. That's the thing that we're most passionate about at NOAA. And Housing First is a project, a team that sits within that. It's a team of 4 members of staff. And their role basically is to get alongside people who've experienced a long time sleeping outside. And those people are offered their own homes. And that project has been running now for 2 years. And we've got 15 people who have currently got their own homes. And we're really, really pleased that nobody has returned back to rough sleeping.
What the scale of need around that issue?
Well, Housing First particularly works for people who've been homeless for a long time. And there are lots of people in Luton, sadly, who've been in and out of homelessness for a number of years. So I would say that we're talking maybe 100 or 200 people who've been in and out of homelessness over a number of years and really need some support to settle down and to find stability in their lives. Yeah,
I do believe NOAA started as providing assistance to people, homeless people, but now you're going broad. We've seen quite a few shops across Luton. How many services NOAA run?
Yeah, so the charity has developed quite a lot over the years since 1987. There's 3 kind of core areas of the charity. One area is our direct homeless services, our welfare services. So that's the area that I head up, and that's the advice and support and guidance and all of the holistic care that we provide to people who are experiencing serious poverty. The other side of our work is our social enterprise, which is the shops that you mentioned, which is where the public can donate goods to us and then we can retail them back out again. And that's really helpful for us to drive income for the charity to be able to deliver our work. And it also provides volunteer experience for people. And then the third strand of the charity is what we call our academy. And the Noah Academy is all about training and employment, and it's about supporting people who are out of work and maybe have been out of work for a long time, and perhaps their confidence levels have dropped. And it's about helping them take the little steps and get the skills they need to get back into the workplace. So they're the kind of three areas that we cover.
We'll come back to the academy project that you're running now, but let's focus on the need of community in Luton here. But in my introduction, I just mentioned that Luton is one of the areas affected by the current situation, by the pandemic. What the scale of poverty in Luton looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got the figures of poverty in front of me at the moment. I mean, I think in terms of how it's impacted the town, obviously it has put a lot of people out of work. I think particularly people who are in short-term and unsustainable work in the hospitality industry and so forth, and some of our migrant workforce who perhaps haven't been living in Luton for that long, they've suffered quite a lot because the work has just stopped, and that means that access to housing gets more difficult. So it's had quite a significant impact on people who are maybe on the margins of society, who maybe haven't got so many safety nets in their lives to fall back on, I think.
What kind of support do you get from the local government?
The local government? Well, we're fairly well supported by central government. So over the last year or two, central government has made eliminating rough sleeping a really high priority. And that's meant that there's been quite a lot of different funding streams coming into Luton to help with rough sleeping. And NOAA have been delivering those as part of being commissioned by the local authority to be delivering those services. So we work closely in partnership with Luton Borough Council and some of the other providers to deliver those services.
I do believe that NOAA started in Luton here, but you go beyond Luton. I think you focus on Bedfordshire as well.
We go a little bit beyond Luton, but Luton's definitely our home. So Luton's where we belong. It's where our heart is. It's where our welfare centre sits. But we are delivering services a little bit wider. So we deliver an outreach team in central Bedfordshire, and they visit people who are rough sleeping in the parks and woods and wherever they might be in central Bedfordshire. We also have some training and employment support in central Bedfordshire, helping people get back into work. And we have a little bit of training and support up in Bedford Borough as well. So some of our services are in other parts of Bedfordshire, but the majority are concentrated in Luton.
Are you still in Delaware Road? I think that where the headquarters was.
Park Street is where the welfare centre is. So 141 Park Street, just east of the university.
Let's talk about the academy. How does it work?
Yeah, the academy is really exciting. So the academy has been in place now for I think about 4 years, and the academy, as I said, really wants to take people that step on from unemployment and perhaps maybe feeling quite passive and quite low to doing lots of different things that people really enjoy, and to give them some hope and some opportunity. So a whole range of courses that we do. We do cooking on a budget, we do gardening for wellbeing, we do IT courses, we do art courses, we do digital inclusion courses for people maybe who haven't used computers very much. We do English courses for people who English isn't their first language. Lots of things, and the special thing about the NO Academy is the classes are really small and our tutors are really personal and passionate, and so that means that we can give people really good one-to-one support, and quite often that leads to them taking steps forward. So we had a chap last week actually who got a job, I think it was with a bakery, and he had been coming to the courses for about a month or two, and he was really excited to be going on to the next stage with his career.
What are the requirements to join the academy?
So the academy, it doesn't just work for people who've experienced homelessness. It's really quite broad. It's mainly if you're out of work or you're on a very low income. So anybody who fits those categories can apply for a course at the NO Academy. We'd love to have you on the course.
You've been there for nearly 3 decades now, for more than 3 decades now. So how do you do to achieve your goals?
Yeah, I mean, I think our goals are quite broad. So as a charity, our goals are to alleviate poverty and bring hope. So they're really quite wide-ranging. And I think to measure that, we measure it against how many people we've supported into accommodation. So over the last few years, we've supported upwards of about 300 people off of the streets and into accommodation. So that's one of our big benchmarks. How do we help people away from homelessness? But also, how many people are we supporting into work as well? You know, those sort of things really matter to us. And going forwards, you know, we're quite concerned about how the need might change. So we don't want to be a static charity. We want to look at what the emerging need is. So if there's people in Luton in different forms of poverty and they're not getting help anywhere else, then we want to be a charity that can maybe turn towards them and see what else needs to be done.
So you're looking to have more shops addressing more issues but the whole range of social issues.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what we're good at, and we know how we've earned the trust of the community of Luton, and we know, you know, we're really pleased and proud to have such a team that are so dedicated and really connect with people closely. But we don't want to just say, actually, this is what we're going to do and this is what we're going to keep doing. We want to say, if the need changes, then we'll change as an organisation and adapt to it. So, I mean, we have published a 5-year strategy which sort of talks about where we want to go over the next 5 years, what we see as the emerging needs, and perhaps, you know, youth unemployment and migrant homelessness and different bits and pieces. So we're definitely looking towards the future.
Paul, tell us about yourself. How long you've been part of NOAH?
So I joined NOAH back in 2013 as an outreach worker in Bedford. And I loved it. It was good. It involves getting up at sort of 4 a.m. and going out and trying to find people, and it's looking for a needle in a haystack or a... But it's a very exciting, really exciting work. And, you know, from there I've been really fortunate that I've had the opportunities that I've had within NOAH, and I think, you know, we're part of a great team, and you need a great team to make this sort of work happen, because there's lots of setbacks, and you have to stay quite committed.
Yeah, from then to now, how NOAH has transformed the lives of people here in Luton.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the last 7 years that I've been a part of the charity, I've seen hundreds of people's lives changed, and I've seen dramatic things happen. As I said, I've seen, you know, one of the most amazing things that I'll always remember is we had a chap who was an Italian rough sleeper, and he was sleeping in a sleeping bag in Pope's Meadow in Luton. And he was quite a heavy drinker, and he was quite an aggressive chap. He didn't speak great English, but he was, you know, someone who was really in need, and he didn't have many options for accommodation in Luton. Nobody seemed to know how to help him. And eventually he decided that he wanted to return back to Italy, and his mother had literally just passed away like a month before, so sadly he couldn't go back in time to see her, but he really wanted to go home, but he had no ID or anything, and we thought we need to be able to help this chap. And one of our team, Neela, met with him sort of 5 a.m. in the park. We had a whole plan lined up, and she took him to London. She took him to the Italian embassy. They were able to provide us a 24-hour emergency travel document the same day. And then they both went together to Gatwick Airport. I was on the phone in Luton buying the plane tickets. They got on the plane, I think about 10 o'clock in the evening in Gatwick. They landed at midnight in Rome. All the public transport was closed. Had to sit in the arrivals lounge until the trains opened at 5 o'clock. And then they both travelled together to his village by bus.
Wow.
And he was reunited with his sister and his brother-in-law, and he went back to the home where he was raised as a small child. Sadly, his mum wasn't there. Obviously, she passed away a month earlier. But he was, you know, really pleased to be back in a safe place, and that sense of safety and that sense of identity is really important to all of us.
Yes.
And Neela was shattered. She'd been with him for like 48 hours straight, and she came straight back to Luton. And I think that kind of dedication is really inspiring to me, that our team are prepared to walk with someone every step of their journey. So there's lots of other stories like that about lives that have been transformed and almost the impossible achieved that other services just couldn't really do.
Positive impact.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul Prosser, for joining us in Inside Out at AUK Radio.
No problem. Good to be with you, Junior.
Thank you. That was Paul Prosser, Welfare Services at NOAH Social Enterprises.
This is AUK Radio. AUK Radio. On app, online at aukradio.co.uk. From the UK, we're connecting communities.